What's good, y'all? Since the last time I recorded the video for Swampert and Mega Swampert, I did end up changing one of Mega Swampert's abilities. Before I get into that though, if you are a new viewer and you have no clue what I'm talking about, welcome. Make sure that you look in the description. There is a link to the same Google Sheet that I'm sharing on your screen right now, and you can look at all of the massive move buffs and changes in this hack. There are so many of them, over 600, and there are also 130 new moves in this hack and all types of other crazy stuff, and it took me a lot of time and effort to lay them all out in this level of detail on the Google Sheet. So yeah, that you're doing yourself a huge disservice by not checking them out, because of course moves in Pokemon are super important and they make a big impact on how the game will be played. So yeah, give these a look. As you can see on screen, it's got all these little categories. You can click them and it'll take you to what they do and all that stuff. So yeah, give that a look. And there's a bunch of other useful links there on the Google Sheet as well. But with that being said, Swampert, it has very minor buffs and changes overall. They're good and they're solid, but it's been a while since I did them originally. But the main change here from the original video, if you did watch that, or you just looked in the Google Sheets and knew what they used to have, is that Mega Swampert now has Headstrong as opposed to Mold Breaker. Headstrong is an ability that prevents recoil damage. It comes from Rockhead, and that prevents a lot of new recoil moves. So you might be looking and be like, oh, it's just for Wave Crash, right? And you'd be right if this was vanilla, but there are dozens of new moves and move changes. So these are all new recoil moves, right? So with Headstrong, the earliest options you'll have are Play Rough, Rock Climb, Takedown, and Wild Charge, which, as you see on screen, are 110 base power, just solid, strong coverage moves, right? And then later on in the game, you'll get access to Wave Crash, you'll get access to Ice Hammer, you'll get access to Brutal. Did I not get them Brutal Swing? I totally should if I didn't. Let me check. Hold on. Ice Hammer, Brutal Swing, Submission, Headlong Rush, which is Stab, and yeah, that's the strongest one by far. But of course, keep in mind that Headlong Rush and Submission will still drop your defense by -1, which in competitive is totally great, right? Because you're clicking the button and you're going Unga Bunga, and like something that switches out on your Headlong Rush, for example, is still going to take a giant chunk, and then you can switch out and remove the defense drop. And of course, you can still do that in game, but the thing is, the AI isn't switching out. So Headlong Rush, while it seems super fun, and it is super fun, is kind of overkill. It's strong, but especially when you already have 170 base attack, like, you don't really need that level of power, even though everything in this hack is way bulkier. Like, don't get it twisted. There's all types of crazy bulky Pokemon. Me personally, I'd still rather just run Earthquake. Maybe, well, in the rain, Headlong Rush is pretty sick because, you're faster. But if you're slower, I don't know how great Headlong Rush is, but it's still, a fun move at the very least. And it's strong. Like, it's not like it's bad or anything. I'm just kind of, people always tend to gravitate towards like the high base power moves, and obviously there's a lot of them are great, but there's always situations where you might just want the lower base power reliable move. But yeah, that's Headstrong for you. Swift Swim is still Swift Swim. I did drop his speed a tiny bit just because I don't see him being that fast. I redistributed his bulk a little bit to make it more fitting, and then, he's just got a big Unga Bunga attack stat, which is very fitting for his design. And then base Swampert, very simple buffs and changes. He's just got a little bit of special attack and attack. All, but for most Pokemon in general, like, are within 500 to 550. Most are like within 525 to 550, to be honest, with most 3 stages typically hitting 550 base out total. Not that that's anything important. Base out total is pretty damn arbitrary in this hack. I've put a lot of work and effort to make all the Pokemon great, regardless if they're 480 or 600 base out total, But Swampert with Hydration and Water Absorb are both, of course, 2 new abilities that he didn't have before. I successfully differentiated all the water ground types from one another. So essentially, Whiscash has Berserk and Metabolism, which functions like Cheek Pouch and has even more bulk than Swampert by a pretty good amount. And Berserk with moves like Rehydrate, which functions like Water type Recover, which Swampert also gets and pretty much every other water type gets. So that's awesome. And then Quagsire has Simple with a bunch of new buffed setup moves, and then he still is unaware, and he's also super bulky and whatever. And then Gastrodon, one of the forms, the other form is Poison and Ground, but I believe it's the EC, the blue form, is still Water Ground and has Storm Drain and Regenerator, and has the lowest HP out of, I think, all the Water Ground types, but also, is still super tanky and has Regenerator and all that other fun stuff, and Strength Sap and all that fun stuff. But yeah, Swampert, of course, has the Mega, which, you might, because if you looked at them on paper, you might be like, okay, well, Swampert is just worse than, XYZ. But you have to keep in mind that Swampert has the option to Mega Evolve, and of course, he's still a Water Ground type with, great bulk and good attack and reliable recovery moves and good coverage and all that fun stuff. So he's never going to be a bad Pokemon, even with these abilities being quote unquote like underwhelming. I kind of did that by design also, because Swampert's always been a great Pokemon. I wanted to reserve the quote-unquote better abilities for the other water ground types. But Hydration and Water Absorb are great. Hydration with the buffed Damp Rock is super sick, actually. Damp Rock will give you 6 turns of extra rain as opposed to 3, and you don't even need a Drizzle Pokemon to abuse that on your Swampert. You can just use flat out like Rain Dance, Parting Shot into your Swampert, and now you have 9 turns of hydration, and you can use, you know, setup moves like Bulk Up or Swords Dance or whatever. Did I give them Swords Dance? I don't think I did, actually. Yeah, I didn't. But, you know, Bulk Up and whatever else you want to do, and then you can click rest, you know, in the brain. That's what hydration is mostly for, so that's super great. And especially if you happen to delete Rehydrate or Set Amend, although you do get 2 chances for a healing move, so yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't have either one of those. But if you ended up having to delete it, you can always use hydration plus rest for healing. And of course, with that rain boost, you're a lot stronger as well, so that's super fun. And then Water Absorb, very, very straightforward. It's just a good ability. All Pokemon are balanced to have 2 useful abilities in this ROM hack. So essentially, you use Water Absorb when there's a water, you know, move or water type Pokemon you have to switch in on, or you have to handle with your Swampert. Otherwise, you can use hydration if you have the rain up. So it really is depending on the situation. There will be a lot of fights where neither ability triggers. It doesn't matter. It's still Swampert. You know, he's still good old reliable. And then Mega Swampert, you know, of course, is a menace in the rain. A cool little thing you could do is switch in your Swampert, you know, on like a status move with hydration, get cured at the end of the turn, and then Mega Evolve and gain Swift Swim. That's a really cool thing that he can do now. I always try to keep very close attention to what ability turns into which ability for the Megas. And then Water Absorb, you can get some HP when you switch in, and then get Headstrong when you Mega Evolve and use your recoil moves and not take any recoil damage. So that's super fun. Both abilities are really fun. Yeah, because again, not every boss fight is going to be rain. You're not going to use rain every fight. So Headstrong is nice for when you're not doing that. That's really about it, though. Very simple overall. A bunch of nice other new moves that I could get into, but I'll just leave it off there. I will say stuff like Buffed Swallow in conjunction with Stockpile is really cool. You can check out what that does on the Google Sheet. Hydro Cannon early on at level 47 is really cool because you can run a nice little mix set because both of them do have solid special attack stats. Hydro Cannon functions like water type Draco Meteor, so that's really fun. Mud Bomb, Muddy Water, both just really powerful. 110 base power, 90% accurate. They drop speed by -1, and they're pretty damn early on at level 41, so that also lets Swampert make use of his lower special attack stat. Again, with those instant EV training items, you can easily toggle and run a genuine mixed set on Swampert for certain situational occasions. Yeah, he's got Parting Shot, you know, which most Pokemon in this hack get access to that via TM, just because it helps deal with all the crazy strong Pokemon running around and the strong moves running around. And yeah, as a whole, he's just a goat. He's got priority in the form of Aqua Jet, Mud Shot, Bubble Shot, and Sucker Punch, and First Impression. You can boost his speed up with Rock Polish, which will also give him accuracy, so you can use that with moves like Stone Edge and Surging Strikes and fun things like that. And Gunk Shot and Zen Headbutt, those are the slightly inaccurate moves. No moves, and I don't think there's a single move here that is below 90% accuracy, besides Blizzard and Focus Blast. Yeah, those are the only 2 moves that he has that are below that accuracy threshold. So Rock Polish isn't like, I mean, and it's still nice to not have to worry about missing though. Really, I'm gonna leave it off there. I think I'm going in circles, but it's pretty simple, self-explanatory buffs for a Swampert. I just wanted to re-record it to cover the Headstrong stuff from the original video. So I thank you if you listened this far into the videos. Shout out to you. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you did, and I'll be back for more coming up. Peace, everyone.